Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to talk about the histogram. A histogram is a data visualization technique used to represent the distribution of a single numeric variable. It provides the insight into the frequency or the count of data points within specific intervals, also known as the bins or buckets. Histograms are valuable for understanding the shape, central tendency, and spread of your data. In a histogram, the horizontal axis represents the range of values for the numeric variables and divides it into interval or bins. The vertical axis represents the frequency or count of the data points falling within each bin. Each bar in the histogram represents the number of data points that fall within a particular interval. During our practical demonstration in Tableau, we will explore how to create the histograms, visualize and analyze the distribution of a numerical variable effectively. We will also learn how to select the appropriate number of pins, customize the labels and colors for clarity, and interpret the histogram to gain the insight into your data distribution. Whether you are analyzing the exam scores, customer ages, or any data set with a specific numeric variable, histogram offers a straightforward way to uncover the patterns and understand the data's underlying structure. So let's go to the Tableau screen and see how we can create different kinds of histogram. I'm in my Tableau screen over here and we are working with a global superstore dataset. To create a histogram, I need some numerical data and I can easily see the distribution of that numerical data, that how many intervals or bin it is divided into. To see that, I know that in the form of numerical values, I have the sales, quantity, discount. So let's try to find out the different type of measures bins. So let's say if I'm talking about the quantity, I want to see what is the quantity that the customer is purchasing. What are the different frequencies of quantities the data is divided into. So I have to create a bin for this quantity. To create a bin for this quantity, what I do is I click over here in this arrow, and over here I have this option of create. If I go to the create, I have this bins option. First, I have to go in this option and I have to rename this field. Right now the name is quantity of bins. So I think this is fine. The next thing is the size of bins. So try to create a size of bin which is not decimal in nature. So it is usually taking the suggestions. Based on this suggestion, I am getting this value. But if I don't want to see this value, let's say if a customer is purchasing, so he or she, whenever they are making any purchase, at least they'll buy one item by sure. So the size of the bin should be, the smallest size of the bin should be one. And I don't know what is the maximum value. So the maximum value over here, it is showing as 14. So I know if I take the size of bin as 1, the maximum value is 14. That the 14th bin would be created for me. And based on that bin, I can easily see what is the distribution of different customers. So I click on OK, and this would bring my quantity of bins in this dimensions. So I now have the quantity of bins in dimensions. Let's try to bring it in the column for now. So I can see the different quantities over here. And as I told you, the maximum value of this was 14. So there are 14 values which are showing right now. This time, let's say I'm taking customer ID in the row shelf and let me add all the members. So here, now I have all the customer names and the quantities that they have purchased. But this is not showing me a good value over here. So what I can do is I can just click on this arrow, and instead of this dimension, what I can do is I can take the measure of the maximum, or let's say the distinct count of the values. After choosing this distinct count of values, it will show me the distinct values of the quantity that have been purchased by a customer. So let's try to deep dive into this particular visualization. If I try to switch on the labels, I can see the only, if any customer is purchasing only one quantity, that kind of customers are 1572. The customer which purchase at least two quantities, I have 1527. And this is the distribution of the data. So you see the data is lying over here. I have too many people which just purchase a single product. And if I want to increase my sales, I can focus on these parameters. If there are too many customers which have this central tendency, that would be also shown in this particular kind of visualization. So there are many people which prefer to purchase four items rather than three or five items, and there are too many customers who even prefer to purchase six items rather than five or seven items. So this kind of distribution is easily visible. So there are too many people which are either buying one item, two items, or four items are also there which have been purchased by maximum customers. Only 171 people are there who have purchased 14 items. So as I go down this list, I can see that after number 8, this trend is completely decreasing. So there are not too many customers who like to purchase in bulk from me. So the quantity is decreasing as I am talking about the customers. So this type of graph can show me the customer trend over here. Now let's talk about any other kind of visualization. Let's talk about the discount, or let's talk about the sales in this same. First, I try to create a discount bin. So I'll again click on this arrow. I'll again try to create bins for this. And over here, the size of discount bin is given as 0.0808. The maximum value is 0.8500. So let's keep it for now. I'll just click on OK. And I'm choosing the suggested value only. I'm not taking the value on my own. And again, I'm trying to bring this discount bin over here in columns and the customer ID in rows. I'm adding all the members over here. For the customer ID, I am choosing the measure as the distinct one instead of the original one. Now you can see there are many customers which have been purchasing from me even if I'm not giving any discount. So I just switch on the labels over here. You can see there are 1581 customers who have purchased from me even if I'm not getting discounts. And if I give huge discounts, there are very few people. So right now only two distinct customers are there who are just relying on the huge discount. So even if I disclose this category, if I'm trying to just neglect this category and if I don't give this kind of discount, so that can save me from the losses also. And also that won't be affecting the customer base too much because these are very small amount of customers who are making purchase. Either they are just purchasing in bulk or they are only relying on the huge discounts. So these kind of customers can be ignored. But now you can see the maximum trend is over here. These are some of the loyal customers which don't even need discount from us to purchase. And as I move ahead of this list, you can see there is this constant line. So 800, 792, then there is slight decrease, 510. So as the amount of profit increases, I don't see a growth, a huge growth in the customer base who are making the purchase. So that is a good sign. If I am not giving huge discount also, that means I have these loyal customers who would purchase from me in the case of lowest discount also. So this is the other way in which you can try to find out this particular measures trend and see the data distribution for it. Now let's talk a bit about sales. If I am applying the same thing to the sales, I go in sales, click over here and try to convert it into the pins. The maximum value of sales is 22,638 and the size of bin which is given over here is 382. So let's try to create the size of bin as 2000 and this would just create 11 bins for me approximately. I'll just click on OK. I'll bring this sales bin over here in columns and I'll try to bring this customer IDs or customer names this time, let's say in a where in Rochelle. I'll add all the members and I'm taking the count or distinct count of this particular customers. So this time, let's say I'm trying to take the distinct count because I'm just taking the overall number of customers. I don't want to see the repeated customers. Or if you want to see the repeated names over here also, let's talk about the previous one. Over here, I took this distinct value over here. So that's why I was sure that there are these two customers. But what if these two customers have taken too many orders over here? So to convert this, what I can do is I can just click over here in arrow and instead of this distinct, let's try to see how many orders they have placed. So no, the orders that have been placed are the same only. Still, this graph looks good. And there is like 29,620 orders that have been placed by these customers, even though they have getting zero discount. So even I have done this single count option instead of count distinct. So this is a good trend that is going on. If I again come to this sheet 6 and over here, I have choose this distinct count of customers. So there is only one customer who has made a big purchase. Okay, so the 22,000 mark has been achieved by only one customer. If I look at all the other customers have been in the zone of less than 2,000 sales. So these all are the customers who have made a good purchase, but they are less in the sales as the amount of sales that is happening with them is pretty low, but there are huge amount of customers in that section. So you can see the trend over here that not too many customers try to purchase too much. And that's why this trend is decreasing. If we talk about these customers, so they have been purchasing in a less amount of sales, but the amount of customers is good. You can also try to verify it with the help of this particular count function instead of count string. And yes, the trend continues. I have at least 50,583 orders, and all these orders were nearly the amount of 0 to 2,000. If you want to increase the size of bin, you can also do it. If you click over here, and then you can try to change the bin size. So in this way, you can try to differentiate between the different bins. Let's say if it was not showing you the correct value, if I want to change the size of bins, I'm sorry, I'll just click on this arrow again and I click on edit. And this time I'll try to decrease the bin size. This time I'm taking the bin size as 1000. Let's try to find out the trend. Okay. So this trend continues. If I try to take the size of bin as 1000, now you can see the majority of the customers belong to the under 1000 category. And you can do it with the help of decreasing the bin size, increasing the bin size, and there you can see the trend. If there can be a possibility of users that not everyone is willing to spend 100,000 and whatever the value of that particular currency is. So in that way, you can try to find out different patterns in your data and try to find out what is the sales amount that is happening with a majority number of customers. So this is one of the way to use a histogram. So I hope this particular lecture was clear to you and how can you find the different data trends in different measures with the help of this histogram and see the trend that is going on in your data. So this was all for this lecture. In next lecture, we will try to use the books and discuss part. Thank you.